Shri Jagathrakshakan.
Speaker, sir, I would like to start my speech by quoting the lines of the Thiruvallur written by our universal poet Thiruvallur. Seidakalla Sayakudum, Seidakka Seyyamithanam Kudum. Doing what is not meet and proper, and not doing what is to be made and proper, and the both deeds with ensure disaster and destruction. I would like to begin by honoring our medical fraternity and the frontline workers for fighting this greatest struggle in the history of mankind. And a special thanks to the scientists, doctors, nurses, and other paramedical staff members. By injecting hope and self-belief among masses, I was eager to hear our Honorable President's speech. But to my disappointment, K fails. He reflects the mood of the nation. In this context, I would like to point out the couplet that is offered our great woman of wisdom, Avayar, century before when the word was pristine by itself. Arakkonam maramum arasariye vittirundha vaalvum viduvandro ertham uludundu vaalvuvarku oppillai kandir padudundu veror panikku endru solvargal. A tree stand at the bank of the river will fall by the force of the wind. Rules will fall when the tide turns, but farmers who feed us from the land will never fail. In India, farming is not a job, but it is a way of life. Only sector that performed well during COVID was agriculture. This sector employment more than 20 crore people, more than 2 crore small, and a medium industry playing a major role in the driving the Indian economy. 60% of the population involved in the agriculture. According to the OECD, it is a find that is a rich country produced support ranged between 40 and 60%. But in India, it is actually negative -5%. While MSP is fixed for 22 crops, but it is used only for a few crops. Accordingly to the government's own data, almost 70% of the market transaction for 100 selected crops in 600 wholesale market, where at price low than MSP. Global Hunger Index ranked India 94% among 108 countries in the year 2020. 14% of the population not getting enough food in India. Achieving zero hunger in the year 2030 is far from reality. Economy survey in 2017-18 warned that climate changes might be reduced annual agricultural income in the range of 15% to 18%, with many farmers ending their God-given life. Government of India did not come up with any concrete plan to stop the sad incident, and our Honorable President failed to highlight in this speech. According to the NCRB data, 10,281 farmers have committed suicide in 2019. 5,957 farmers and 4,327 agricultural laborers have committed suicide. 60 farmers have died since they began protest against new agricultural law over a month ago. I would like to quote, "We can never to satisfy as long as our farmers are stripped of their self-hood and robbed for their dignity." Again, I need to bank to Thiruvallur to quote the famous line, "Allal vittu aarthaadu aludha kannir endru selvathu theikumpada" endru solvargal. Tears shed be by the people due to misgovernance of the rule will erode the nation's wealth. MSME will close to 63.4 million units. Contribution of the 33.4% of the Indian manufacturers' output and provide employment around 120 million people. Indian MSME produced more than 6,000 products from local and global consumption, with expected contribution to the GDP about 50% marks. In the President's speech, it has been mentioned that several steps have been taken to develop small-scale industries under MSME, whereas it is shocking to note that nearly 43% of the small-scale industry has been closed during COVID pandemic. With the remaining majority of the small-scale industries at the verge of the closure, there is no data for the number of MSME closed down from the financial year 2014-15, financial year 19-20. All the sick industries have been revived by the providing adequate support. They need immediately financial support waiving by the bank interest, initiating their loans, granting subsidy, extending the technical and marketing support. The government come up with the big promise to providing the pension scheme for farmers, agricultural labor of the unorganized sector, small traders and the country. But it is sad to note from the Honorable President's speech that is only 60 lakhs beneficiaries have been covered under the pension scheme. This government had failed to keep up the promise which is given during budget speech. Government introduce a special scheme for old farmers. Any developing country soul is migrant laborers. It is quite heartbreaking to have witnessing the death of these people. 216 migrant laborers have lost their life due to starving and financial disaster. 77 due to lack of medical care. 219 due to road accident. 96 death in swimming train. 133 laborers have been committed suicide. 49 died in quarantine centers. 192 migrant laborers have died on account of the other reasons. In the rump of the parliament election 2019, the Prime Minister promised to AIMS Hospital would be built in Madurai. The project cost has been increased 1,200 to 2,000 crores. Other states that were allotted AIMS during the same time, they started the admission also. Should have established a 300-bedded hospital and speed up the admission process. But till now, no building has come up, and only the foundation stone lies as a sad reminder. When the world economy was rattled by the deadly waves, only public sector undertaking played a major role in stabilizing the economy and providing such a needed comfort for the governance. The role of the PSU after independence in the folding the economy cannot be described in words, but now the future of many PSU remain very doubtful under this government. I would like to discuss the rise in the petrol price at far price 30 rupees per litre, but people have been forced to pay extra 60 rupees more than in the name of indirect tax. With the people already fighting with the post-lockdown effort government in adding extra burden to common man with the rise in the petrol price. Another very important point, sir. I urge the Government of India to take necessary steps to release all the convicts who have served more than 20 years for abuse and demising as per the order of the Supreme Court. Every saint has been past and every sinner has a future. I urge the government to take necessary steps in this regard. Finally, I would like to end my speech quoting the line from the Kambaramayana. ராவண ராஜ்யத்தை பார்த்து அனுமன் சொல்வான், இந்த அரசியல் காற்று புகும், கதிரவன் ஒளி புகும், ஒன்று மட்டும் எப்போதும் உள்ளே போகாது, அதுதான் ஆவரம் என்று. வேண்டுமானால் கம்பெனியில் அந்த பாடலை நான் எடுத்து காட்டுகிறேன். கரங்கும் கால் புகா, கதிரவன் ஒளி புகா, மரளி மரப்புகா, காதினி வானவர் புகார், என்கை வம்பே திறம்பு காலத்துள் யாவையும் சிதையுள் சிதையா அறம் புகாது இந்த அணிமதில் கடங்கியின் நின்ற அகத்தே என்று சொல்லி, and this government should pave the way of the current and future generation to live life with peace and prosperity, and the helping every individual for citizen to enjoy basic essence of this beautiful life which Constitution of India has offered. I thank the President of India. Thank you very much.